Hey everybody, Happy New Year. This is my last review of 2017 and the first one to be uploaded in 2018. Want you guys to enjoy. Thank you always for watching. So, let's get started on Figma 359, I believe. Is it 359? Yes, 359. The Berserk Guts, not Berserk armor, sorry, it's from Berserk. It's Guts in his Black Swordsman, technically Black Swordsman costume. It's a repainted version, but basically all they did was update the paint apps, give you a better head. But the figure itself is still the same. So, let's get on to that. If you have the previous version, you already know what you're getting into. And if not, I'm going to go over that in a second. So first thing I'm going to do is compare it to the previous version. Then we'll actually get an articulation and all that stuff. To the left is the previous version. I'm going to stand them up the same exact way. So you can see that they pretty much stack up the same as far as height goes. Nothing's really changed. The only thing that's really changed is obviously the paint apps. So let's get light on both of them. As you can see, the one on the left has a darker tone. The face is different. Paint apps are different on the blacks. I don't know if you can tell in the photos, but they're browns. This one is actually lighter, but it could have been faded because I've had it for years. This one is a richer brown, a smoother black, as well as the paint apps, things like that. If you look at the skin, this one is more tan, definitely more brown, while this Guts is more of a new infusion of technology to make him give him that tan, but I'm not a person of color look. So yeah. Either way, it's really nice. But the big differences are probably the head sculpts. I took his whole neck with me. Didn't mean to, but we're gonna roll with that. The biggest thing to judge them by is the difference in the heads. So let's bring the light over. This Guts has a more dirty, I've been to war, I'm going to fight any and everyone look. While this Guts looks like it's more from the new manga and new anime. Excuse me, I'm all over the place. But yeah. So as you can see, it's a little different. Actually, it's a lot of different. But for those that love Berserk, this is not the figure for them anyway, because they've been buying the 1/5 scale statues. That's where it's at for most people in Berserk at this point. So let me put that one off to the side and let's talk more about the new one. Now, obviously, outside of it being repainted, you want to know if there's any differences in articulation. The answer is no. Nothing has changed in terms of articulation. It's all a single cut joint, not double jointed. But it does have a nice bend to it. It rotates left and right as well. Same thing for the mechanical arm. You can actually get a little bit of rotation here as well. The arms go up about this far. The armor plates are made of soft plastic, so you don't have to worry about breaking them or being too sharp. Nothing to worry about. Arm rotates all the way around. Things like that. As far as the waist goes, you can get left, you can get right, you can go back a tiny bit, you can go forward about this much. So nothing's changed with the previous figure. Leg articulation goes up about this far and this far out, and you can bend it about this far. There is ankle pivot, really good amount, and you can go really far back, and it can't go forward. So there's too much not to worry about going forward. This Guts actually looks really good compared to the previous one. But again, if you're into more detailed versions of Guts, this one won't get the articulation that you see Guts actually do in the series at all. Guts is actually a very posable guy. He's very swift. He's very fast, especially for someone who carries around such a big sword. So this one doesn't do all the cool stuff that Guts is actually capable of. So that's one thing that's kind of a drawback with him. And that's kind of okay. But outside of that, we have Guts Busta Sword. It's a nice shade. It is slightly darker than the previous one. I forgot to take it out as well, but either you can take my word for it or you can compare it to your own. It's slightly darker. The paint apps are slightly different on the handle, and just like before, all you have to do is remove the bottom piece to slide the hand in, and you have him holding the sword. The best thing about it is, technically, he can still hold the sword with two hands, and they give you hands to slightly go forward, and I'm going to go over the hands now. So the thing about Guts is, they give you these sets of hands. And they kind of give you hands, as you can see here. This one is for holding the sword slightly forward. Let's go over that real fast. So this is for holding the sword forward. Guts normally doesn't take two hands to hold the sword, but if he wants to, he can. It's totally fine. They give you open palms. They give you hands for holding each sword, so the sword in each hand, so it's not really a problem. More importantly, even for the gun hand, sorry, I called it a gun hand. Even for the hand, mechanical plate one, the replacement, they give you one where he secretly holds a gun in the hand for when you do the shot. So as you can see, you can even do that as well. Just like on the previous one, nothing's really changed. They give you just about the same amount of items. Nothing's really different. The cape is actually the most disappointing thing because just like the previous one, they gave you a really sucky cape. It is a faux cloth material that's actually really terrible in every which way. And I'm going to have it replaced with a cloth one for obvious reasons. So CJ, I'm looking at you. But again, if you don't have the previous version of the figure, I'll show you how it attaches on. So in the back, where the plating for the holding of the sword is, you're going to have to slightly rip open the hole a little bit bigger because it actually comes really tiny. And you align the hole to a mount over the shoulders and put the head right back on. And that's how you have the Wandering Black Swordsman with a really sucky cape. It's supposed to be able to wrap around him, but it doesn't. All you can do is get it flowing just enough to look decent, I'm assuming, in some type of pose. But we'll see what happens in my photos. Maybe I can manage something. But man, oh man, terrible, terrible cape. And we already knew that. Figma's not going to pretty much change anything if they're going to call it just the repainted version. So, again, not good on the cape. But one of the cool things is you do get another head with guts. And it is the yelling head. Or should I say angry guts head. And the thing I like about that is that if you have the Berserk armor, the Figma SP042, I believe the number is SP42, you can easily swap heads. So let's change that. Oh, there we go. So what you can do is you can take off the head. Oh, wait. The joint didn't come out. Let's see if I can get that out. Give me 1 second, guys. Well, looked like I took the whole neck out, so let's try it. We're just going to aim to take the whole neck out. What's really nice is that you can swap it. I've done it before in previous photos, but I'm trying to show you here. And it decided to act up. But even the joints work too. Just like that, you can have guts with a human head and the Berserker armor, which is pretty cool. I like the look of it. It's an easy swap. Still gives you the amount of posability that you want, and you can still do some stuff from the manga with it. Or in this case, the anime. I'm not far. I got to catch up in the anime. Didn't watch the second season, and I need to catch up. But as you can see, that swap makes it a little easier to do other cool stuff that you've seen, or stuff that even if you didn't see it, if you want to just do it anyway, go for it. Now, height-wise, Figmas are generally smaller than most other lines, so let's get a comparison to what it's like to a bunch of other lines. Because I have most figures out right now that I've actually been playing with or just had out. So let's compare them to a bunch of other lines. Let's leave on the Angry Guts face. Here he is next to Mythic Legions. So as you can see, they are pretty big, but as far as genre-wise, I think they go well, and they'll be a great fit in photos. I had them in mind. Here he is next to Storm Collectibles, which is a lot more closer to a 1/10 scale than a 1/12 scale. And we all know Figmas are non-scale. They even say it on the box, non-scaled figures. So here he is next to them, and he's still, even though he's smaller, he still kind of contends with them in terms of overall weightiness of it. And I like the look of it. Here he is next to an SH Figuarts Green Ranger. And as you can see, Green Ranger is tiny compared to him, so it kind of works out, right? Here he is next to a Mezco Punisher. Let's get him to look good, guys. So Guts actually might be an exception for a Figma because he's actually, normally Figmas are around the same height as SHF, even though they're non-scale. But Guts may be the anomaly as usual. Here he is next to a Marvel Legends Blade. Then here he is next to a DC Icons Nightwing. For those that asked about the thigh cut on my Instagram, it was modded by Bill Maru. He's right now on vacation, but you can always contact him and maybe you can get some work. So this way is like next to those guys. Then we have, here what he looks like next to a Shokekseho Kuga. And Articulated Icons Ninja. Oop. So height-wise, Guts kind of fits in with everybody, which I'm really happy about because I like Guts. But more importantly, let's see what Guts looks like next to Femto. They stand at a good height next to each other. I like it. It works out really well. So yeah. Then also, here he is next to a Heavy Industries 1000 Toys card. So I've compared it to just about every line I own. I might be missing some, but I used what I had out and I went with it. So overall, I'm really liking the new guts. I like the new paint job. It really works for my Berserk armor. But I pretty much got it because I just wanted the updated paint apps. If you already have the previous guts, there's nothing to really worry about unless you wanted the updated paint apps. So you get the same thing that you got before. Or if you missed out on the first time, this is your chance to get a guts. You already know what you're kind of getting into. So in the meantime, guys, hope you enjoy. Hope you have a great holiday, a happy new year. Hope you be good, do good, drink your water, guys. Later.